think I just saw the live thing light up.
Hey.
I got too many darn web pages. Where'd my YouTube page go?
Let me close these 16 tabs real quick.
Yeah, 1,604 tabs.
There you go. Now you're getting it.
So this streaming app is kind of cool.
Yeah. We can also see.
Okay. I found it. I found where we are.
The only problem with this streaming app is that if you want to go sponsored on any of the platforms, they won't let you use it.
What do you mean sponsored?
So if you go affiliate where you can get money from people on Twitch, you cannot stream it to other places. If you want to do the same on YouTube, you cannot stream it to other places.
So you can only stream to one place.
You can only stream to one place.
They want exclusive access on the monetization.
Yep.
Well, luckily we're not charging any money. So.
Yep, exactly.
Although we're about to turn on that stuff.
Oh, well, there goes this thing. No.
That's it.
Well, it just won't work for the news. That's all.
Yeah.
And for people who heard that we're about to, don't worry, we're thinking it through. We got a thing. We're gonna make it work nicely.
Oh, we got a thing.
Yeah. It's really the only reason we want to do it is to enable more features in YouTube, and it's not really the money thing.
Yeah.
They don't let you do the more features until you say, okay, we'll make you some money. And I believe
it's not like you don't make them money anyways, right?
Yeah,
like just viewers still make some money. They do ads even if you're not signed up for that.
Yeah, but they gotta make you do the extra thing.
Yep, they do.
But that any profits that we pull in from this sort of thing is gonna I forget where it's gonna go. It's donating to some specific thing that I know Jason had picked out, and he should be listening because I just sent him the link.
We're going to send all the money to you, the person who's hearing this right now. It's going to go to you. Just tell us your bank account information, and we will send it directly to you. So
you will need to type in your password though and your username for your bank so that we can make sure the money gets wired properly to you. Please do not do this.
Because we're really nice guys.
That's right. Okay, let me find the music.
Let's
make it official.
Kick the tires, light the fires.
That's right. Oh, we lost Joff.
He's there. Just camera off.
I'm still here. I just turned my camera off.
Hey, welcome today to another exciting episode of Black Hills Information Security, talking about the news. We have an all-star cast, and this is going to be one of the best shows ever. We got Derek Banks. What's up, Derek?
And he's muted.
And he's muted immediately.
Yes. This is going well so far.
This is flying great. This is going to be perfect, all right? We also have Joff. Joff, how are you today?
Hi, I'm really, really good. It's good to be here.
You're excited to be here?
Yeah, it's good. Good to, by the way, Ralph, you always say it's going to be the best show ever, so it's going to be the best show ever.
Absolutely. And we've got Rob. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm glad you're back on the show. We missed a couple of you guys last episode when we were test flying the plane and doing some things, and I didn't realize we were going to do the show. So, but we're all glad you're back.
And
test flying
Derek
the plane.
It was an accidental miss because we I forgot about him, and it's like, just do it right now.
But
I'm easy to forget about.
Yeah, and that's not true.
We were so excited and in the moment, like, okay, let's just do it.
Yeah. Well, also we had the largest news cast stream amount of people. There were how many people? There's like
we had almost 10 people.
10 people, yeah. So that was interesting. It was like a round robin discussion, right?
At 10 people for the best show ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
We got 13 now, so we're beating your score, man.
Oh no. We're talking 10 people
on screen.
Hey, so Ralph, what are we got to talk about today? Anything useful?
Sure. Yes. All right. So first story today, guys. This is from Bleeping Computer. Engineer reports data leak to a nonprofit, and then here's from police, right? So the general gist of this story is that security researcher found some sensitive data. I believe it was on a GitHub bucket or repo, excuse me. and he reported it to the the company involved. And next thing you know, they said thank you, we appreciate it, and then it kind of escalated into them reporting him to the police. I believe this is in the UK, and then him, kind of going through this, process where he's kind of getting blamed for having the data, and them accusing him of, keeping the data when it was publicly exposed to everyone and anyone who could get onto GitHub. And yeah, fun stuff. So what do you guys think about, hold on, I got to use the magic words, responsible disclosure?
I was going to say no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought when I read this article, honestly.
Yeah, but come on. Like, not everyone is security aware. A lot of people will have the mindset that hackers are the bad, evil people out there in the boogie, the boogeyman and stuff. And so a response like this, while we expect it to happen, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, like, it's still going to happen because people they're not in our realm, right? They're not always there. So if he's reporting it to a small nonprofit, of course he's going to be reported to the police. But the nice thing about it being, 2021 is that he's not going to jail, right? Like, people and law enforcement kind of know how this happens now, and he's not going to spend time in jail. He's not going to, get 20 years to life, right? So I think that, yes, he had to go through some more headaches, but come on, like, I don't know. Just playing a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Yeah, I mean, so nothing bad really has happened so far, but it's just kind of the thing where somebody reports something that they found, and then somebody else decides to take that to some law enforcement of some sort, and kind of pen it on the other person. It kind of be like, hey, I just told you about this, and then that goes back to Derek bringing up the no good deed goes unpunished, right?
Yep.
And it also makes people, articles like this, and again, it's kind of the shock piece, right, in today's current climate where we should be fostering this kind of disclosure, and we do want companies should be super receptive for when people report something like data leakage like this, but it does come back, and the companies knowing where that's good for them, right? That they shouldn't be going after the researcher, and kind of drawing that line, right? So
yep.
Yeah, I liken this to even some customers that we deal with sometimes who get a pen test and then are shocked by the results, and you shouldn't be. In fact, for any customers that are getting pen tests, you should be able to pretty much predict the results if you're more mature in what you're doing. So I think this is kind of similar, right? That shock horror on behalf of the owner of said site or whatever is because they probably just don't know enough, and how they react is going to then impact ultimately what happens after that. So
yeah, I agree with all of you, actually. So first, yeah, that was easy. It reminds me of the time when I was a child and I went to the movie theater with my dad, who's a firefighter, to watch the movie Backdraft. The whole movie, sat there and went,
Oh, Jesus.
Fire doesn't do that, right? So, I mean, it's the same thing, right? You know what you know, and we all know that, oh, that's silly, right? I don't know that I agree that up to a certain level in law enforcement, like, I don't know. I don't trust that law enforcement and the government has a great handle on all things cyber.
That's true.
But I mean, the story doesn't say, hey, he went to jail. But I mean, yeah, that part wouldn't have surprised me if that did happen. But I mean, that's what happens when you try and do something good, right? I stand by, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, I know a lot of bug hunters, and I know a lot of researchers who report things to companies who don't have bug bounty programs, And a lot of times, if they don't have bug bounty programs, it's a negative response. I can tell you from personal experience, even companies that do have bug bounty programs can sometimes be negative as well.
So it's still a negative response.
And so, like, I think that one of the problems is just we're still kind of edging our way out of the hackers are evil criminals mindset, and it's just a slow slog. It's gonna get there, and we don't always do ourselves any favors with the ego that goes around, but I think we're getting there. It's not go to jail, don't collect $200 anymore. It's at least don't collect $200. We're getting there.
Good thing. Nice way to put it, Rob. Oh man, that feels like a segue to me. So what you got, Ryan? What
do I got?
Ralph.
It's Ralph today.
Ryan, Ralph, whoever.
The other R.
Oh, okay.
And I think he's muted.
Ralph, are you there, Ralph?
He's coming. He's working on it.
Man, technical
technology is hard.
Can you hear me now? We can hear you now.
Yes.
I have no idea what changed. I didn't change anything there. No, I was going to say the next article is right up Rob alley, and this is SolarWinds again. So another RCE flaw found in the SolarWinds Orion platform. They just keep coming. I'm not actually too surprised. This is kind of more in line with like traditional, vulnerability that would come across the product line. It's just, now after all of the, major supply chain attack and then being compromised, it's kind of like, oh, another one again. But, I wouldn't be surprised if Rob's already exploited this one at some point. This is supposedly a 0-day, and I believe that this was a authenticated, right? So you did have to have some level of access, but you could do some remote code execution with that.
Yeah, the SolarWinds job scheduler code I've looked at through a lot, and it's no wonder that there's a few vulnerabilities there. I know that there was a vulnerability, and I even blogged about it back in 2016, I think 2017, where a researcher posted how to schedule jobs on the job scheduler using the API. So if this is just that, then I don't know what the big deal is. But anyways,
they got a CVE.
Yeah, they got a CVE out of that's. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, SolarWinds is being looked at quite a bit just because of, I think the effect of it getting so much news alerted people who weren't already aware that SolarWinds was like used everywhere, that it's used everywhere. And so people are starting to kind of pull it apart a lot more than they would have before. And so SolarWinds gets free pen tests, like a lot of them.
Yeah.
And
in
so,
other news, SolarWinds is hiring developers.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. And and I don't think SolarWinds has a bug bounty program. They just have a bug vulnerability disclosure program. So they aren't providing bounties at all quite yet, or at all that I know of. So like you don't get anything by reporting to them other than a pat on the back. And so I don't know, man. Like they're getting a lot of free research. I hope they appreciate it.
So you think there's going to be more of these in the future?
As soon as they have a bug bounty program, yes. As soon as they start paying out, yes. I guarantee people are holding back until that happens.
Yeah,
that's funny in chat. SolarWinds is also hiring interns. Yeah, too soon, maybe.
Too soon.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have a
I
different
can see
policy for setting the passwords now. So
I could see the requisition now. It's like, come work for SolarWinds as an intern. 10 years experience at master's degree required.
Yeah,
Must know C++, C, Java, Oracle, Python, Delphi, COBOL.
We're going to pay you $15 an hour, baby.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I definitely agree with Rob. I think that now everything SolarWinds is being looked at. But I mean, this isn't surprising either. I mean, I think all of us on the call or the news here have been on enough pen tests to know that like the third party stuff still to this day, it's rare to see an internal, vulnerability scan not show just third party stuff. It's hardly ever patched still, like whatever it is, if it's Oracle stuff, and when I say third party, I mean not Microsoft, right? I still see it all the time that Microsoft patches, that an organization will have that together, but all the other stuff, no, not really.
Yeah, Rob's right. They're going to see more of this until they get a real vulnerability disclosure program, though, like something really going. That's been the floodgates, I believe, will open. And it's still my favorite, whipping boy on an internal engagement right now, and I think it might be for the foreseeable future.
Oh, and I updated Solar Flare to handle lots of other issues that it was having with some of the database connections, some of the account type outputs, and so if you do get on an internal test and you want to have some fun with it, Solar Flare is the tool to dump all the creds out. So it's awesome.
Amen.
It's like zero login for an internal, right? Just via Solar.
Oh man, yeah.
It's great. All right. I guess the next one that I had for today is actually kind of a follow-on from last week, and this is again back to the 0 days. So for I believe there's not the last news, but one before that. Anyways, we talked about the 11 0 days that got released or discovered via Project Zero, and who was possibly behind that? Most likely the NSA or some other agency, some nation state, right? And the 0 days kind of keep coming. It looks like Apple went ahead and did a out of cycle patch for those other 0 days that appeared in that those are first 11 CVEs. Obviously, all 11 of them were not Apple, but some of them were. And this is another 0 day for iOS, iPad, Mac OS, Apple, the Watch OS. And I believe this is a it's a WebKit flaw. There you go. Sorry. So yeah.
You got distracted by the leather, didn't you?
Yeah, it was the leather. So yeah, WebKit flaw, and they had to again put out another patch. So patch your phones. I mean, I guess the big thing here is about some of these exploits, and I guess one topic that I want to bring up is that Apple does have a decent, or correct me if I'm wrong, a decent vulnerability disclosure program, and they do pay money, but there's such an underground market for these vulnerabilities that when we're seeing them, it's later on in the cycle, and after they've been used in the wild, and sometimes it's nation states or whatever. But I mean, what do you guys think about how Apple can make that better? It's just pretty much the best we're going to get, right?
I think that historically, I'm not sure that Apple's been real friendly to folks hacking on their phones, right? I think they recently have a program where they'll send you a jailbroken iPhone that's like a researcher phone. So it's not meant to be used as an everyday driver. But I went and read the rules of the program, and you have to have already established that you are that you've been contributing to Apple's contributing bugs essentially. And to me, they could be a little more friendly and maybe relax that a little bit. I mean, how about getting more people looking at it, right? And so just don't, you're already setting a gate, right? Now I get that
it's a definite chicken and egg issue, right?
Yeah.
If you get people in, like I haven't reported anything yet, so how do they get a phone and if you don't like them hitting your phone, how are they supposed to get any of those vulnerabilities in to get onto the program? It doesn't make any sense to me either.
Or what if you want to get into it? Maybe you're doing Android stuff, or maybe you just want to get into it all together. And so you're still going to make new people root phone or jailbreak phones, and I don't know. It just seems like to me that's kind of a stupid rule. So I'm not really sure that they're still quite doing the right thing. But I watched an interview a while back ago with Edward Snowden, and he was making the point that I thought was interesting, that Apple vulnerabilities can be more serious because more affluent people, i.e. politicians and folks, tend to use iOS devices. We might not think about that here in the US because we all have it fairly well off, right? But I thought it was really interesting to hear that. So that's why I think they're more expensive and like more surprising in some ways than Android vulnerabilities. But I guess I'm not surprised that there's another one. There'll be another one in iOS 15 and 16, and it's never going to go away, right?
Sure.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I think of too with some of these vulnerabilities is that it's kind of like the higher end now. I'm guessing just because of to your guys' point, how hard it is to possibly get into actually making exploits for iOS and the barrier to entry being so high, that I feel like some of these, the value of them is so high that we tend to see them in like a lot more advanced threat actor hands as opposed to just like a general, exploit. And I want to say by general, like a large swath of people using it. So for example, the Exchange exploit that came out, right? As soon as it was kind of like talked about and it was already in the wild, it was like next thing, every threat actor is taking down all these servers, and we're talking about, all these people who haven't patched yet. I don't know if we necessarily see that with iOS. I mean, I don't know. I could totally be wrong, but it does seem like whenever one of these 0 days come out, it doesn't seem to be like, they're like, yeah, patch your phone immediately. But the people who were using this were already very advanced attackers in the first place, and it wasn't, your run of the mill. I don't know.
Well, and not as near as public, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of usage of stuff that's, like you said, is just not known to people. And I wish Apple would open it up a little bit. The barrier to entry thing is, it's a challenge for all of us. And, why? I mean, seriously. I'm sure they have their reasons. They've always been, closed source about things and been very, very hold things very close to the chest. So I guess it's their decision.
Getting back to the vulnerability, the specific vulnerability that patched, it's a universal cross-site scripting in WebKit. So essentially meaning that you can the XSS works on any part of the device that has WebKit running. So inside of apps, inside of your browser, obviously, inside of iMessages specifically that use WebKit for multimedia. It's a 5.8 on the CVSS score. But like, I think it's interesting that they released a "you must update now" kind of patch for essentially a cross-site scripting.
Yeah, because so I can execute code in that context of whatever, like say my browser. I mean, theoretically, I should, the phone should still have that sandboxed off, right? And you can't theoretically go somewhere else. So that says to me that the patch your stuff now means that probably in the wild, and again, we don't know about this, right? But it's probably chained together with some other stuff, right? So
yeah, and it also could be that possibly it was being used by less sophisticated threat actors in the wild at this point. So it's just, a little bit more ubiquitous, and that's why they possibly went out of cycle on that patch, as opposed to being able to attribute it to nation state and, a targeted attack. I'm not really sure. I have no idea. But yeah, like you said, it was kind of interesting. They went out of patch cycle to fix this vulnerability, amongst other ones, because they had just sent out a patch a couple weeks ago. To fix the other ones. So I guess Apple does what Apple wants to do, right? All right. Next one I got for today is actually about crypto mining. And it's interesting. So there's research, this is Palo Alto Networks. They looked at a bunch of Docker repos, and they were looking for malicious crypto mining, right? So what they found is that there's a bunch of images on Docker Hub that are being utilized for crypto mining. It's not that hard to do, right? And the way it would work out is that if somebody were to compromise some system most likely Linux-based system, they could use this to run their crypto mining software using GitHub, or in this case, Docker Hub, excuse me, to inject that in without having to download software from another third-party site. They'd be downloading it through Docker Hub and then running crypto jacking on these boxes, right? And obviously taking CPU resources, all the other fun stuff. Supposedly, the estimated mining worth off of the amount of pools, because they're saying 20 million pools on these repos, was about 200 grand. Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty common practice. It looks like for doing crypto mining and how they're distributing that software. It's not complex. And these images, I took a look at a couple of them. I mean, they're pretty simple images to start crypto mining and sending it to attackers, right? But I guess, what do you guys think about this? And then two, what do you guys think is probably the best way to protect against something like this, right?
Hey, so question on that.
Yeah.
In any of the individual images, were they deceptively named in such a way that they were attractive to a Docker developer to say, okay, for example, I want a generic Python 3.5.7 or something, and this thing inadvertently has crypto mining built into it.
Alpine with a 1 instead of an I.
Inadvertently? You said inadvertently?
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty big understatement, right? But, or I want an Ubuntu XYZ, and it just happens to have crypto mining jacked into it. I mean, that's a serious, obviously a serious issue. And one of the advantages from the developer perspective, of course, of Docker and Docker Hub is that hopefully you can, quote unquote, trust some of these images that you're bringing down to build upon. So I don't know. It doesn't surprise me in the least.
Well, so I mean, I think that all of us here would think, oh man, this is bad. This is attackers making money doing something they shouldn't be doing, which is true, right? But if you're not in the security space, tying it back to the first story, right? Obviously things like ransomware, where your files are held for ransom, and you have to pay. That is a CEO of a company would say that's something that we have to deal with. But if you're told as management, yeah, these attackers, they were taking 10% of the cycles of a CPU and sending off this cryptocurrency off to make 37 cents off our server over the last month. Yeah, it's a huge issue. We have to deal with it. And the CEO is like, wait, why? What's wrong? I don't really understand. I guess what I'm saying is could you view it as really like kind of not that big of a deal if you're not inside the security space?
I mean, it's like saying, oh, let's take like 1 cent out of every transaction. It's only 1 cent out of every dollar, right? And then eventually it adds up to millions of dollars.
Again, I'm not saying that I wouldn't think that it's a bad thing, but yeah, it's the Superman 2 Office Space or whatever, right? Like,
no one will notice.
Yeah, no one will notice.
A couple things. So one, to Joff's question. So I did look at the images names, and they did list them. So some of them were like really obvious, like crypto miner or like XRig, and then other ones were like AV finder or something. So like it really ran the gambit. Other ones were just numbers, like the username and the image were just numbers. So you could tell some people were trying to mask what it was, while other ones were trying to kind of blend in, like calling this Docker image or whatever. But I didn't see any of them in here, to your point, that were like Nginx, special version or whatever. And that's actually really common in the Docker image space, to take a Docker image and then create something else that has some different little twist that the popular repo or the software managed repo doesn't have, right?
It strikes me that you could really build an entire multi-year social engineering campaign out of this sort of thing, where you earned the trust of the developer community in a particular technology area, and you build that vertical stack of stuff that's really popular for that development community. And then you go ahead and drop in your distributed botnet or your distributed crypto miner.
Sorry.
I mean, if you're going to do that, you might as well go after Python libraries too, right? Because people among us haven't.
Well, what about pip?
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Honestly, I'd jack everything up. But I mean, you could definitely see an attack chain here that could be extremely damaging if somebody went to that length. And I'm sure there's plenty of people thinking about that, going to that length of developing a trust in a developer community and actually beginning to build that, and even going very low and slow in the kinds of backdoors or botnet or whatever that they might want to embed in those images.
So what you're saying is you should build some security tool that requires Docker Hub and then gain enough trust in the industry and then launch your attack.
I am not proposing.
So like come on, strike.
just for the record,
right?
We're the good guys. And, what I would like to see though is some more focus and effort into the proper analysis of any images before you can mark them as gold standard in any development shop.
Sort of like a Google bouncer or something.
Yeah, I don't think we have any like resources directly for auditing Docker images.
Yeah, there's some stuff starting to come out there, but I think it's a golden opportunity right now for people that are that inclined to really start doing some in-depth research and image analysis work and turn it into product basically.
So I got a question for you then. Do you believe that it's on Docker Hub to do the security scans of new images getting loaded?
I think like only a small piece of that, like just like a little bit, right? Like looking for like the very basic stuff, right? The same way like Office 365 runs a virus scanner, right? Like it's not going to stop more advanced malware or anything.
What if, for example, sorry,
go ahead, Rob.
Sorry. What if, for example, it showed you next to the Docker Hub image, it showed you the virus total scan results? Like it had 7 files with more than 2 detections.
I could see. I don't disagree with that idea, Rob. I think that's a really nice idea, but it wouldn't necessarily have to be on Docker Hub's shoulders. I mean, they could in fact build kind of a business ecosystem, and I hate using those words, but you
gotta add synergy to it.
Synergy, yeah.
Oh God, and leverage their core competency.
Collaboration.
We can't get through an episode without this. No,
I mean they really could build some sort of API plugin kind of ecosystem here where security vendors could play, right? And I think it would make some sense.
Oh man. They could make a ton of money doing that.
Oh,
hey, Docker Hub, send Joff money because he just gave you $100,000 idea.
Yeah, that's true. What if it was like an API that
the Docker guys hear me? Send me money, right? Because that actually is the $1 million idea, and probably more than that. But
so, and for everyone who hasn't heard, some of the other like things that Docker is pulling off of as well, especially Docker Hub, is Kubernetes and other kinds of orchestration platforms around Docker. So there are a lot of companies who are using this in production to deploy large environments. And so, I mean, Docker images are definitely out there. I believe it wasn't not too long ago, silly vulnerability, but somebody left a Kubernetes web interface. I believe it was Tesla. I could totally be wrong. Open on the internet. Someone used that. They compromised it. And what do you call it? Actually did crypto mining as well. Another quick win, right? And that's how they use that access. But so I mean, more companies are using Docker. That's the kind of the point. And auditing those images and how they operate is going to become more of a important security vertical, honestly, than it is right now. So
yeah, I'd be surprised if Docker did anything about it until something really high profile happened, because I still $200,000. Okay, yeah, to me that's a lot of money. To a lot of normal people, that's a lot of money. But in the grand scheme of things, in the U.S., is that a lot of money?
Yeah,
not really.
So here's a con talk then. Why don't one of us, we could easily do this, take a well-trusted Docker image, build in a botnet, and then turn it into a conference talk, and we could raise awareness.
I wasn't going to bring this up, but now that you have,
you've opened the floodgates. Here we go.
I'm talking at ZiffCon about this exact topic.
Rob,
he beat it to us.
And now Rob's going to link the Docker image that he would like you to install.
Yes. I need you
to test this
to install at scale.
That's fantastic, Rob. That's really
good. No, it's already on. So X33F Con I'm talking, it's called Jurassic malware. It's basically bringing back all of the old malware by using stuff like Docker and such.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Docker helps with all this dependency problems. Now it's just easy,
Right?
man. So yeah, the old stuff is new again, right? And it still works.
Oh man,
every time.
I got one of, so I'll give a teaser for the talk. I got one of the oldest IRC bot, like malware C2 bots that I could find running in a Docker instance.
Beautiful.
It's fantastic.
That's exactly what you.
Nice.
That's what Docker's for. That's literally its purpose.
Straight up like IRC clear text protocol across the whole thing. Like it works wonderfully.
And now that XKCD cartoon makes a whole lot more sense.
I tell you, man. You know, migrate up the stack, migrate back in time. You know, that's
right?
a beautiful thing.
We're gonna Docker everything.
Beautiful thing. Oh, what a great! Oh, that that was a great little segment right there. We should do something even more impressive now because this
it's
is
as if you already knew that was going to happen. We totally planned that.
The best show ever.
The best show. I told you it's the best show ever. But that was actually all the news I had for today. Did you guys have any good news articles that you guys ran across that you didn't share with me and we all keep it private?
I got nothing.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
Drops out.
I mean, that would require that I've actually done my homework before the show.
Are we? Did you guys already talk about the PHP stuff yet?
I did not talk about the PHP stuff. Did you want to talk about the PHP stuff?
I mean, it's the biggest news that I know of.
Oh, it's the biggest news in the best show ever. Come on.
So
now
there were two. Okay, so here's the link. Where do I send it?
You can put it in the private chat if you want.
Yeah.
And we'll put it on the
I'll
stuff.
just send it to you directly, Ralph, because I can't find the private chat.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll get it worked out.
Okay. So the crazy thing about this is that PHP is still quite used. I don't understand that, first of all. But two malicious commits were committed to the PHP repo on GitHub. And it had like backdoors put into it, and it was like fix typo or whatever. And so I think the research is still going on to what happened and how and all that stuff. But like, somehow someone got access to GitHub for the source code for PHP and committed malicious code to it. And
What could
that sounds
possibly
like
go
a
wrong?
cat.
So, so we had the SolarWinds thing, now the Docker thing we were talking about, and
Supply chain.
Yeah,
Supply chain.
Is
man.
2021 going to be the year of the infrastructure attacks, right? Like sort of the back.
I'm just so curious on like who might have pulled this down already. Like PHP's used a lot
Everywhere.
and so
Yeah.
like even if it was only like an hour's worth of exposure time, like this could be massive.
Yeah, no, I still see PHP a lot on tests. I mean, ASP is certainly more common now, but yeah, PHP is still out there for sure.
Do we know if this was an inside push? I mean, so was it on the public GitHub that, yeah, like where did it kind of start, and then how was it discovered?
And Fernando was right. That's an intern again.
The damn interns, man. PHP interns now, SolarWinds interns.
Yeah, I know. I love that comment, Fernando. That's damn interns. Yeah.
So they did reference Zerodium. So I'm guessing that it's part of a bug bounty or whatever. But it might not be. I don't know. Oh, there you go. Sold to Zerodium in 2017. Oh,
that's terrifying.
Again, what could possibly go wrong? Oh man, look at that.
This line executes PHP code from within the user agent. So if you put if the HTTP header has the word Zerodium,
you can basically have PHP in the header. Nice, great commit. I mean, not a good commit at all, but kind of comical to me.
Yeah. So do they think it was someone who works at the PHP? Like, I'm confused here. Like,
yeah, honestly, that's all I know about it. Like that's
Gotcha.
everything I know. I've been it's been on my to-do list to look at all day, and it's just insane to me. Like,
Well,
that kind of impact is nuts because of how quickly that can go wrong, right? Like how fast PHP can be pulled and pushed to new projects and loaded into Docker instances and that kind of stuff.
So, I'm only reading the headlines, which I know I've mentioned in the past that people shouldn't just read headlines and draw conclusions, but it says hackers breach PHP Git server and insert backdoors. So I'm going to go with that sounds like that it wasn't someone, with the PHP organization, that it was somebody hacking from the outside, but I don't know.
So someone hacked PHP organization and then pushed a malicious Git repo or like reverted a malicious. Yeah, it says 2 days ago. Yeah. Interesting.
And then the interesting this actual one commit I'm looking at, this HTTP user agent with an extra T on the end, in that was pushed in there, where they can, I suppose, supposedly store data of some sort. I'm not quite sure what.
Yeah.
And then the other one with that custom header, which is going to just get eval'd. So that's nasty.
Yeah, I mean PHP is still pretty popular, but I believe it's becoming less, right, than it was, 10 years ago.
Sounds like the official
Facebook is
statement.
all written on PHP.
Yeah, I know.
Official statement confirming the source code breach. Statement confirms that it looks like it didn't make it out to production, which, okay.
Really? Because that looks like it is. In
Yeah,
production.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Well, the statement said, but Pixar, it didn't happen. I guess I don't know.
That's the problem.
I mean,
maybe it didn't make it into a package.
Hate to say,
Okay.
but isn't the Git commit that we've just pulled up as a web page a pretty good picture?
Yeah, I'm kind of scratching my head on that one. It didn't make it into production. Okay, all right.
Oh.
The latest build was 13 days ago. There's a chance that there was a build and it just got pulled, right? But I'm guessing that because it wasn't tagged as a release, and I don't see any commits with the tags, that it didn't actually get built for release. So anyone compiling from source for PHP was exploitable.
Yeah.
Anyone using the packages or the binaries wasn't.
So did anybody pull it down and compile it? Try it out?
You never know.
No.
Yeah, well, I mean, it might be fun to do that.
That sounds like a
Sounds like a
fun.
CTF challenge.
Yeah, it sounds like it better be a
Ooh.
Docker image. That's all I gotta say. Because the dependency's got to be intense.
Here, have my cool PHP Docker image.
I've
You'll
customized
love
it.
it.
Absolutely stealing that idea for having it a CTF challenge. That's
Oh my
awesome.
God, yeah, it's a great CTF challenge. Now I know what Rob's doing tonight.
Yeah, all you got to do is just
change.
change that header to something that follows the CTF, right? So
Yep.
That's beautiful. In
Really
fact,
fun
just go
stuff.
ahead and invent your own. Now you know the technique. You might as well just
yeah.
Anyway.
So I should find another repository of widely used software and commit my own code by stealing, authentication. Sounds great.
I'm
I'll
not
do that.
recommending anything.
That sounds like a computer fraud and abuse act to me, but just
We
saying.
do not endorse or recommend
Me
any
too.
of that.
Joff
Yeah.
told me to.
I've not seen you in an orange jumpsuit, Rob. I'm hoping not to.
Yeah. No thanks.
Hacker arrested, premeditated on a live YouTube broadcast.
Just for the record and for the stream, we are joking, everybody.
This is all a
We are
joke.
totally 100% joking. Okay. All right.
Anyways, yeah, that is really interesting stuff. Again, supply chain, man, just like the idea of taking code and pushing it downstream that affects everybody. And we were just talking about that with Docker as well. Are we going to see more of that? And to the point where I'll I don't trust anything. I don't care who makes it. I have to review all the code myself, which is not possible.
Well, you do get into this thinking, how deep does the rabbit hole goes, right?
Sure.
I mean, you trust that the Linux kernel is compiled by somebody who knows what they're doing and hasn't inserted a backdoor. You trust that the GCC compiler hasn't got a backdoor in it. You trust that the Golang compiler hasn't got a backdoor in it. I mean, come on, how deep do you want to go?
Yeah.
It can get.
I mean, I have to have a certain level of trust because I'm not, moving to Gen 2 and rolling everything on my own. I don't have time for that, right? Like most people don't.
Or you could have the hardcore position that I used to have actually back in the day on some infrastructure where I exclusively was running OpenBSD and I was putting my trust in Theo, right? I was like, my DNS servers are going to be OpenBSD and they're going to be mono-threaded kernels, by God. You're sacrificing functionality for that comfort. But I don't know. It's a weird, wild, and wacky world out there.
Yeah, become a slave to your own security policies, right? You're just like, this makes things better, but it just adds so much complexity and work for yourself, right? So it's
always
difficult.
finding that balance.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. You have one more? Oh,
yeah, this
my God.
This
it's
might
been
be
such
short.
a fun show already.
I already know which one he's going to talk about.
As the non-hacker guy in the group, I'm just the video guy. I am also a car guy, and I have to put this one in here, which is, I'm going to put that in the chat, and I'll share the screen. Why not?
Yeah, there you go.
Man, don't say we're gonna pick on Tesla.
No, it's not Tesla. Actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, our Teslas ran on PHP.
No. Another contender has joined the chat with the security. So here's Dodge doing a security upgrade. Let's see, they're launching a new owner verification system to their Chargers and Challengers that will restrict their car to 3 horsepower if you don't know the code, if you don't know how to get by this thing. So I thought that was very interesting.
Oh, that's cool. It's crippleware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. A feature.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Well, Dodges only go 3 horsepower anywaes, right?
Yeah, that's actually the max horsepower, so this really doesn't change much.
No, we got to make that 4. It just drops 1 horse off of it. It's crippleware kills 1 horse.
So, this is one of those that it seems like a good idea until it's not a good idea.
Until someone finds the 3-letter code they're issuing.
Yeah.
Until someone needs to get to the hospital and can't.
Yeah. Or something, right? Like I mean, I don't know how I feel about this one. Yeah,
it's an interesting topic that on the surface sounds stupid, but I think you can go real deep with this one. And if I remember from a few years ago, Jeep. Well, I think it was Jeep that was considered the highlight. Was the it made 60 Minutes and all those news things. Like criminals can hack your Jeep and control it from you, sort of thing. And here is Chrysler. This is Dodge, so Jeep and Chrysler. It's all Chrysler doing something. I guess they're kind of listening to that, and it takes like 5-10 years for anything in the automotive market to reach planning to production. So maybe they're about to get serious with this sort of thing. I don't know what they've done with to counter that sort of thing in Jeep since then. But it's like this automotive side of security is coming back into the light a little bit.
So we should issue a challenge here. If there's anybody out there with a Dodge muscle car between 2015 and 2021 who has actually loaded this software, then get back to us, because if you work out how to cripple your car, we'd love to know how you uncrippled it.
Yeah.
Well, so it looks like they're just trying to stop auto theft, right? I guess in the article they say that this vehicle or the Dodge is common. So it's just kind of like, why not make a better electronic key? But okay, even past that, cool. Now
you could also stop your 16-year-old from stealing your car and going out for a joyride.
Sure. Yeah. But what I think is interesting, like, why even give it 3 horsepower? Why not just not let it go into gear if you don't have the pin? Like,
I guess it's like valet mode. It's a thwart. Stealing it, and not just make it disabled outright.
So you can still steal
move
it,
from
but
parking
they'll definitely
space
catch
to
you right
parking
away.
space. Get it out of the road, whatever.
So
you can't do a burnout.
Vicarious Photo has a good point. Like, these things seem like good ideas until 5 years down the road, they're not a good idea, and we all accepted it as good ideas. And next thing you know, for whatever reason, whether it's the cops or whatever, like you lose the right to drive your car because they have the keys to the software. Like I don't know. I guess, all cars are basically rolling computers now, and I'm not really sure that I should have probably kept my 1993 Jeep Cherokee. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just going to get bigger. It's when you're I know from Tim Medine doing his presentations where he brings out the doll and he's hacking the doll and that all that fun stuff. Cars are going to be a big security industry now, I guess. It's coming. It's, bringing back Tesla electric cars, even more so than they used to be.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind, right? I mean, we stay employed, and I've probably got at least 5 more years in me, if not 10. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, and so these are the kinds of things. That's why when I've heard other folks in the industry say that pen testing is dead or pen testing will be gone in 5 years or whatever, it's never turned out to be true. And as long as hackers gonna hack, I mean, pen testing might get harder, but I just don't see where it's going to go anywhere anytime in the near future in terms of being solved, right? And I don't know. I don't feel insecure in my job. That's for sure.
There's always going to be shit to break.
Yeah. And now it's just going to be in cars because, like you said, there's going to be more computers. And I mean, there's always been microprocessors, ECUs in cars, but it's getting a lot more like full blown computer stack with
do a lot more.
I made
it's more than just timing the ignition.
Yeah, exactly.
Timing your brakes and.
I made a joke about my 1993 Jeep Cherokee. It actually did have a computer. It was fuel injected, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't have a carburetor. That was, an 80s model, but still, it still holds. Like that Jeep was the last vehicle I had that I could actually work on. That's
really going to suck though when someone hacks your car and then starts using it to crypto mine. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be the worst.
Hey, if they increase it by 30
all
horsepower,
that horsepower, you might as well use it.
Well, I've still got my 2003 Toyota Tallywagon, for lack of a better word. No, it's a truck. It's not a crypto miner yet that I know of, but
your crypto mine safe, man.
It does not have much in the way of electronics. It's got electronic timing, and that's about it. Fuel injection, I guess. But
all right, well, watch out for those cars.
Hey, that was a fun show.
Yeah.
So, somebody should take us out. Who's going to take us out? I think Derek Banks should take us out.
Yeah, Derek, fly this plane.
I can't play the music.
I can play the music. You just got to talk.
You got to make some radically amazing wisecrack.
Yeah, how about see everybody next time?
Man, I love it when he says that.
It's his favorite line.
Time to go cook the kids' dinner.
Rock on. Hey, it was fun, guys.